Hello everyone, it's Ashwin Rao, and this is a take on the Crew Ñonpareil Indonesian made service boot that Kenwin has developed. It's called the Eakins model, and we're going to do a brief unboxing, which as you can see features a fairly austere box. This is different than the typical Crew Ñonpareil boxes, which are usually branded in the dark blue colorway with the Crew Ñonpareil branding, so a little different here. The Eakins boot is made in a Velthuin construction with these two foam inserts for fit, as well as these typical Crew Ñonpareil bags. It's made from a local Indonesian pull-up leather using Velthuin construction. That's what I believe is the case from what Kenwin told me in terms of construction. And let's take a look. You can see that the boots come with bags, as well as a spare set of laces, and the Crew Ñonpareil bags are the ones that I've become familiar with, kind of a modified paper-like material, but with some substance and a drawstring. So overall, a protective bag. And here we are. This is the Eakins boot. Single row Velthuin construction. Almost looks like a flat welt construction from what I can tell, but he's calling it Velthuin, so flat welt or Velthuin, that's what this looks like. You can see it has a rounded, slightly asymmetric toe with a plain cap toe with double rows of stitching adorning both the edge of the toe as well as that one row in. This Indonesian pull-up leather is a kind of a dark to mid-dark brown leather. Slight red undertones. This is a veg tan leather that originates from Indonesia. Feels like it's got a pretty thick handle. Should have some decent pull-up properties. And it looks like a really nice, elegant boot. You can see a natural edge dressing along with a leather midsole here, followed by the rubber footbed, which is a Dr. sole. Looks like a 1220 super grip sole. And heel block here. These are oil resistive soles and a traditional standard block heel. One thing I really like about the work that the Indonesian makers working with Crew Ñonpareil do is they put a nice shape to the edge of the heel block, and it opposes the curve of the heel quite well. So there's not a huge step off here. They do a nice job here, which is partly permitted by the fact that this is a 270-degree stitch. If you had to go 360 degrees all the way around, you have to create a little bit more of a step off, so they do the 270-degree welt stitch and do a nice job. You can see the heel counter here, as well as the toe, which appears to be a structured toe. Brass eyelets, a total of 5 eyelets and 2 speed hooks. These are different than the speed hooks that I've received from Crew Ñonpareil in the past. This is more of these smaller speed hooks that I've seen from, like, say, Iron Boots and a few of the other makers. I think White's actually uses smaller speed hooks as well from the Pacific Northwest. The stitching is done with a what looks like a natural colored stitch. It's a pleasant tonal stitch there, and the tonal stitch is brown stitching on the uppers on this mid-dark brown pull-up leather. So this appears to be about a 5-inch height boot, so a little taller than a chukka and a little shorter than your typical service boot. You have the traditional Crew Ñonpareil detailing right here on the back heel counter, and a nice pull tab here made of this thickness leather. This feels like a fairly thick veg tan leather. Nice clean makeup. I'm overall nicely impressed with the boot. Let's take a look at the other boot real quick. And the nice shine has been applied by the makers. And again, this one comes with the Kilty 5 eyelet speed hooks, block heel, consistent stitching, which to me looks like a flat welt, but is described as Velthuin construction. So you'd have to reach out to Kenwin about that detail if you want clarification. I like the shape of the heel counters and how that forms a swooping curve along the side profile of the shoe in terms of where the tangent points are along the curves of the front of this side paneling as well as the heel counter. The placement of the toe cap is fairly high up the vamp. Some people like a shorter toe cap, so I'm fairly indifferent. I think that this looks just fine to me, and I like the curves that we're seeing in this last work. Seems like a fairly shapely last. This particular boot will cost you $470 plus $90 shipped internationally, so about $560 US dollars as of 2024. So a nice value for what you're getting of a hand welted, hand lasted boot with hand stitched outsoles, largely worked by hand by a small group in Indonesia helping manufacture these boots. So give Crew Ñonpareil another look. Kenwin's a great guy, one of the true entrepreneurs and kind of individuals here in the boot community. On the sales side, he's also a shoe and boot enthusiast, so you're getting the best of both worlds. He and I have known each other for a few years. I trust him with his taste, his style, his integrity, and obviously his shoes, because I have a few pairs. So hope you're all doing well. We'll talk soon, and hope you're having a good one. Goodbye.